Good day. Today I'm going to talk about lever locks and tools. I am starting to get into this, and I've been working on making tools for picking lever locks and mortise locks. And it's been a journey. I've made many of them that do not work and had to redo them several times, and I'm still in the midst of doing them because they're not quite right yet, and I haven't picked any of the locks consistently with the tools because they haven't been tweaked enough really to be useful. But I just want to show you what I've been doing, and the first thing I'm going to do is just show you different lever locks I have, and we'll start with these simple lever locks. Now these work on the principle of levers, just like the big old English lever locks do, but the levers are manufactured a little bit differently. They're not quite the same, but they do the same function. The key has to lift up the levers to a certain height in order to draw the bolt open or close. And all these are just different types of lever padlocks with different keyways, but basically they do the same thing as big old-fashioned door mortise locks and the old English locks do. And these are picked differently, though. I haven't found out the ways to pick some of these yet, especially these two. These are 6 lever locks. They have 3 levers on either side. All 3 levers have to be lifted at a certain height on both sides. So you got to lift all 6 levers up equally while trying to turn the lock. The key acts as a turning tool as well as a key to lift the levers up. So that key puts tension on the lock. So I'm trying to figure a way how I can pick 3 levers on this side and 3 levers on this side in order to get the bolts removed, the bolt to come back. These 2 here are a lot easier. You can go in there with conventional bent wire tool like this, either going in through the hole in the front and trying to get to the levers, or like in this Yale here, this one goes all the way through, and you can either approach it from the front or you can go in through the back and try and lift the levers and throw back the bolt. So this is the first type of lever locks. And now I'll show you the old English lever locks, ones that you've seen before and recognize. This is one. This does not say how many levers it has, but it looks like it has 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5, maybe 6 in here. Now the British pronounce lever locks. In America we say lever. So I might be interchanging those 2 terms, but that's what I mean. Here is a Squire 77. Here's another Squire 770. And this is a Squire 660. And these 2 are, don't know what brand, they're branded Jared and HMS, and they have Admiralty on both of them with a different number. This is a number 2 Admiralty, this is a number 12, and they range all different numbers and I cannot tell what the difference is between any of them. They're both, all of them are the exact same size. The only difference I can see, even the Squire is the same size and same shape, but the Squire is a heavier lock. And if you look here, the top and bottom pieces, the thickness of it, and look at the Admiral, you see how thin it is compared to it. So it could be a cost type of thing, and this is an Admiral T12, this is a 2. 12 has a thicker front and back plate than the 2 does. So it just might be the quality or the thickness of the face and bottom plate that makes that work. Okay, put these aside, and I'll talk about another padlock. It's a lever lock here. Now these locks I got on eBay and from trusted sellers, and I can tell by looking at them if they're authentic or original. But there are a lot of these type on eBay, and they're not authentic lever locks. They're reproductions, and they're made to look like they're old, and you have to be very, very careful if you're interested in one and want to buy it. There are a couple of things you have to look for when you see these locks, or any lock, is the description. If it's a genuine lock, lever lock like this, it'll say it, or just from your own knowledge, you can tell that it's a genuine Squire lock or another brand lock. But this one is a no-name brand lock. It's called a Bank Lock, 7 levers. And in the description, it says Old English style lever lock. And the key word there is style. Style does not mean original. Style means that it's a reproduction. So you might see something that looks beautiful like this, and it'll just say, let's see, like this, doesn't have a name on it, and it will say 5-inch, 7 lever, Old English style padlock, going for $750 first bid. And it's not a real Old English lever lock. If it says style, it's a reproduction, and it probably doesn't have more than 1 or 2 levers in it like this one did. I bought this thinking it was an original lock. Found out right away that it wasn't. The post here in the center, let's see if I can show you, moves around. It's not soldered or welded in place. And the other thing is, the key doesn't work, doesn't unlock it. Or it may unlock it once, but will never unlock it again. And I had to contact the buyer and let him know that it was damaged and that it didn't work. And I was very unsatisfied. I was able to get a credit back on it and asked if I should send it back because it was an expensive lock. And when she said no, then I knew definitely it was a fake lock. So beware. Read the description very careful. Okay. Now I'm going to go over some tools. These are some handmade tools I have made. This was the first one I made. It's made from a couple of nails. This is a 20 penny nail. It's really big, thick, almost spike-like. And this is just a regular common nail here. Probably 16 penny or 14 penny. And what I did was I had to get on the grinder and grind it down about half its thickness, drill a hole into the tip of the nail, cut a nail to fit in there, super glue it and pound it with a hammer to get it to fit tightly. And for a handle, instead of making a handle, I didn't know how to do that when I first made this. I went to the hardware store and I bought this. It's used for tapping threads into drilled holes into steel. You have a die here that has threads on it, and you drill a hole in your metal and then you make threads with that. And this holds the die and also holds the nail. I had to file it down in order to fit in here. This is a 1/4 inch chuck, so, and this was bigger than a 1/4 of an inch, so I had to drill on the grinder and grind it down so that it would fit inside there. And it makes a nice tension tool. Let's see if I can find his Squire. And let's see, go on that one. And you make these tips for your individual locks. I don't think I've made one for this one yet, no. But what it does, it goes inside there, all the way in, and this end pokes out the back. And it turns the, you turn it this way to unlock it, and it pushes against the bolt to apply tension on that. Okay, and these are tips for different size locks. And don't know, that one goes in there, as you can see, and it turns. You'd have this onto here, onto here, so it would turn and apply tension onto the bolt. So you make several of these tips for the various size locks you have with different size keyholes in them. Now there's another type of tension tool you can hand make, and there's a bunch of them here. This is one. It's made from 2 bolts. I cut the head off of that bolt. It used to look like that, and I put this little acorn nut on it as something to hold on with your fingers. This middle part is an actual key that I filed down, about half its thickness too as well, and also filed off the tip of the key, only leaving this post here to use as a tension onto the for the lock. And I got these rectangular washers to attach the bolt to on either side. It's threaded. These are threaded. And I use this bolt to tighten it on. And the key is cut in half and placed in between the bolt and tightened down. So you have a tool. So it goes in there like that, and you rotate it, and then you put your lever pick in there, like here's one that I made that would go inside here, and you would start working on the levers. And this slot here will, on a thinner pick, will hold it in place while you're picking. And here are some other ones I made. See how I cut the key in half here, so it will fit over the bolt, and it's bolted down. And these are connector bolts, or that connect threaded bars together so you can make longer ones. And I use those. as handles to hold on to. This is a pipe key which goes to locks that have these pipe openings and those posts. I don't know if you can see it down there. So this would go in like that and turn, and you would put your pick wire down in here to pick. I'm not going to be picking any because I can't pick them yet. I'm still working on making the tools. So there's one. Here's one, a big one for a mortise curtain lock. And here is a mortise curtain lock, what that looks like. And this goes in this way. I'll turn to put tension on the bolt or the curtain, and your pick wire would go in there and you would pick it. This is a 5 lever. See if I can take this off, show you. These are the levers right here. There are 5 of them stacked down there. This here is the curtain, and these mortise locks come in either curtain or non-curtain. Non-curtain means it just doesn't have this piece on it, and this is an anti-pick device basically, and it's made so you can't get your pick up here to push the levers because this piece of metal is in the way. So you have to have something like this that has a small tip on it that goes in and moves the curtain so it becomes out of the way. I want to see that. And then you can pick your pick wire in through here to pick the levers. And this particular curtain lock, levers have false gates in them. And this is a 5 lever lock. And this is another mortise lock. This is a very simple 3 lever lock and has no gates in it. It's a Union Assa Abloy lock, and locks like that. The key has bitting like that, and there's, if you look in here and see, there's no curtain in it. It's just a plain old keyhole. The key goes in, and this shoulder goes into here, and it can't go any further. So you can turn the lock to lock it or unlock it. And the levers inside just look like the other levers do, but without false gates to it. And some more handmade ones with different types of key bitting in it, keyway tensioning, for different size locks, different size keyway openings that you use. And you can unscrew this and change out keys easily. I just made a whole lot of them as a practice, but they still have to be tweaked because they don't always work. They get stuck in the lock with the pick wire too, and I've destroyed 2 locks that way because I couldn't get the tool or the pick wire out. I'll show you one more tensioning tool for doing these, and they're made out of steel rods and nails. These are nails here. This is a steel rod that's been bent 90 degrees and ground down to about half its thickness as well, and they're for the locks that, let's see here, that have a hole going all the way through the back. They would go in like this and fit here in the hole in the back. You can see coming out, and you would turn it till you hit the the bolt, and you put your pick wire inside here and move your levers, and once you get it, this would fall down and the bolt would open. And again, you make them in different sizes for different keyways. The last thing I'll show you are the pick wires that I made. And these are made for, again, different size keyways. These are made out of it's about a 1/2 mil wire. And the wire I got was at the hardware store. These are little marking flags you stick in the ground to mark electrical lines, that type of thing. And the metal's very, very strong. The steel is very strong, so it doesn't really bend very much. And let's see here. Find one of these. This would go in like that, and you'd find your pick wire. Your pick wire would go inside here to the side where you're putting pressure on the tension rod, and you would be in there lifting the levers. It's usually about, this is a 4 lever lock. You have to go all the way to the back and lift each lever one at a time. It's a stack of levers until they get tensioned by the bolt with that, and it would slide open and the bolt would open and you'd get it picked. And that's the easy part. The hard part is getting these wires out and the thing out, because they get tangled up in there. And that's what happened to me. I got both these things tangled up in there, could not get them out, and had to destroy the lock to get it out. So that's the way it's supposed to come out, that easily. And this is a thin set of wires. I also met a thick set of wires for the mortise locks. And these are, you'd have a straight one like this that you would use on a non-curtain lock. You'd put your tension tool in there, put your straight wire pick inside here, apply tension. Usually you can do this in a vise, and then go in there and lift your levers until the lock opens. Now with the curtain locks, you need a pick wire, here we go, that has a bend on it, because you have to get around this metal curtain in order to get to the levers. And there's a right bend and a left bend on these. And you would cut these to the right size. I haven't cut these down yet, but basically the tension wrench would go in there, and the tool with the bend would go in. Get in there like that, and the curve is going around the slot here in the curtain, and it's able to go in there, and you can hear the levers. So I'm picking them, slipping off. But you would have this in a vise, and you'd be pushing tension on it to get it to open. But you have to use a bent wire for that. So you make a lot of wires, different lengths, depths here, depending upon the depth of the keyway. These are all long because I can cut them down to whatever length I need to do it for the lock. And I bend all these in a vise to make the 90-degree angle and I use pliers to make the handle and shrink tubing to go on there. Also, you need to, look closely, you need to grind the sides of the pick to make it thinner to get into the keyway. You do that on both the thin and the thick pick wires. So I am going to be working on perfecting my tools to make sure they work, and then I'll go into trying to pick these, and once I get confident enough, I'll do videos on that. So until then, oh, well, let me show you the lock I smashed, broke to pieces because I couldn't get the pick wire out. I had to grind off and drill out the bolts, you can see here, on the front side in order to get the plate, to remove the plate. So this is the inside of a 4-lever Squier. And this is a 440. It has 4 levers here, has no gates in it. It's just a simple. I made a plastic cover for it, but it didn't work out too well. I got to make another one. It got messed up pretty well, and I misdrilled the holes, but basically it goes over here so you can see the inside while you're trying to pick the lock. You'll have a tension tool down there, of course, and you would put these in here and you'd be lifting up the levers to different heights. That one came apart. Yeah, they're easy to put back together, basically, like that. And so you have to, the learning curve with all this, like any other kind of picking, and but it's a different type of picking completely, so it's something you have to learn from scratch. You basically can't use your knowledge from pen tumblers and go to levers. You have to learn levers on its own. So that is my foray into lever locks, and hope I didn't confuse you. Talk to you later.